I got it. Okay. Last time on, I almost said Spirits Rise. Holy shit! Last time on Edge of Twilight, Path of Hades, Maelie mentioned that she was looking for a handful of spells of the digital variety, and myself and Sera decided to accompany her. We went to this place called The Node, with no possible connotations to anything of a phallic nature. Upon entering in, we were all hit with a waft of a smell. And from behind a counter, I don't know if he was some sort of lich, some sort of daemon, but he rose like the mist over a lake. And he proceeded to tell us about a few scrolls that he had of technomancy. And while he was talking about the abilities of these said scrolls, I decided to hunt around, found a picture book looking thing with some very lewd drawings between a woman and some sort of squid, tentacle. I mean, I know of a Locket High, but it didn't look like him penetrating a girl with his tentacles. And I decided to use that to help us a little bit. Went back to the counter, negotiated a little bit of a discount for Maelie's spells, and by sucking one of Sera's tentacles and licking it a little bit. Okay, I think that's worth 1,000 gold if you ask me. And upon the completion of that transaction, we decided to help Maelie continue to shop for some things for Ayaza. And while we were walking away, I decided to help Sera with an endeavor that I know was really important to her. With the funds that I got from regrettably selling Tits McGee, whom I love dearly, but ultimately Chorus has kind of become our main angel, and we could honestly use the cash. I decided to help my friend Sera with an investment into the stock market. I made an agreement with her to take the money and put it into the stock market with the idea of splitting the dividends of what came out of that. And as soon as we made it around the corner towards the stables, I guess there was some sort of pet auction. And off Sera went, skipping as weird as her tentacle ways can skip. It's very awkward looking. Don't watch. And I decided to stay back, kind of listening to the stable man with Ayaza. I think that as the time goes on, Ayaza keeps looking a little bit more cracked out. Definitely jonesing for a hit, wanting to gum it up. And after a little bit of talks, Sera comes out with a fucking unicorn and a dog in a cage. And knowing that she had absolutely an abysmal amount of money left, I was very heartbroken. I felt very betrayed that my friend went back on an agreement that we had. And I decided to leave. I had to think about things, about what happened. So I made my way over to Ellie's Eatery. Being a typical woman and talking about being heated and acting on my emotions, I decided to see if there was any other crews looking for a pilot. I got absolutely wasted off of some shit that Ellie gave me when the party came strolling in, and Sera and I decided to try and talk things out about what happened, and we're still at a little bit of a stalemate here. She doesn't believe that she broke her word. I believe that she did, and here we are trying to work it out.
Alrighty. Let me play this. And there you go. All right, go ahead.
Trying to figure out what state Irha was in. Can't quite remember.
Irha at this time was being a Chad and walking around and, finger crossbowing people. Or finger vesseling people.
I guess I'll start. As Irha is walking around finger crossbowing people, the movements will kind of slow as he realizes and pauses for a moment, looking down into his hands, twisting them and gaining back to, I guess, himself, or at least he thinks himself. And he stares at all the people he's finger crossbowing and is very confused as he awkwardly stuffs his hands into his pockets and quickly makes his way back to Maelie, trying to avoid... That's a face.
So you should probably explain what happened, since I don't think Astra was here, about what all this is.
Oh yeah,
because that's pretty important, I think.
And so as Irha is passing Luka, he is going to stop and look at that creepy ass mask. All right, now you can explain it.
Well, first, he's poking at Seino. Just like digging at his side, trying to get his attention.
Seino turns around, looking confused and rather interested in what Luka has to say.
How are they going to be arguing? And he's like motioning towards these two. He's leaning close to you. He's all up in your face.
Seino will lean in and say...
Kiss him. Oh, sorry.
And say, well, I don't know, but it's good that they're discussing in the first place.
Yeah. Joshua got the feelings, yes. And he leans away. Then he looks at Irha. Irha, when you look at Luka, he's wearing the Harlequin vest he's worn before. You've probably seen him wear it a couple of times. But this time, you don't see his pupils. And he has, just like the mask right now, he has a smile on his face as he looks at you. But his demeanor feels different to you. He kind of just leans on his chair as he looks at Irha.
Irha's ear will give a soft flicker as he tries his best to adjust himself to this weird mask, realizing that his demeanor is different. Let's see what Soul Sight will show me. What's left?
As you activate Soul Sight, you will see nothing at all when you look at Luka. You just see the distinct absence.
Irha will kind of be taken back by that as he steps away.
Hold on, I've been requested to show this. There you go.
It looks really good though.
There you go.
It's temporary while I'm working on the actual.
Did you draw that, or did you just like Photoshop that?
Photoshop.
Okay, I was like...
It looks good, though.
Yeah, doesn't it? I was just like, this is perfect.
I like it.
Because of the feel.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I will kind of take a step back, realizing whatever soul his friend did have is absent. Well, like your new getup, Luka.
Oh, you like it. And he just hops down, gets a little bit closer to Irha, and he stares right into his face.
Irha will continue to step back. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
You're different. And he's just studying you more. Not nervous bird. Bird? Irha.
I'm
Not rude.
no.
Irha.
Yeah, yes, it is I. It's just me.
You're back! Excellent! And he starts clapping. Happy claps. Come, sit! He starts dragging you. Directs him towards Maelie.
Irha will get away from his grasp as quickly as he can and go sit next to Maelie. Oh crap, how do you do the small details where you can move around your character
Hold
without
shift.
being in the shift? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he will sit in the chair uncomfortably, kind of leaning a bit close to Maelie, staring down at Luka. And he nudges Maelie lightly. Is that... And he's whispering to her. Is that what Luka acts like now?
Apparently, yep.
He will kind of grab her by the shoulder and drag her off real fast. I need to talk to you really, 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 really quickly. Really, really quickly.
She,
Ow, Irha, you hit the back of my head.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
She pauses at the table. How's it going? Y'all good? Gives a little thumbs up.
Where are you going?
We're not. We're just...
I just need to talk to her real fast. Really, really fast. I promise it's not something
They're gonna go kiss.
Yeah.
She looks really excited.
And as soon as you say that, Goldenveer will scream into Irha's ear from inside his mind. Stop! She's too poor! It'll spread!
Irha's going to give a very large sigh as he puts his hands to the side of his head. God, it's just... I'm really sick of all these voices in here. Let me tell you, it's not fun. There's Goldenveer and I guess a few others. It's not the easiest thing. But Irha will lean to Maelie. I don't think Luka is Luka. And I mean that in a way where I noticed he was acting different. His demeanor was different. It wasn't Luka.
Well,
Well, hang on. For what I'm trying to say is I looked deeper into it, you know, using my my ability that I've harbored. He doesn't have anything inside him. When I look at him, there is nothing.
As you say that, Goldenveer will also show you that Maelie's bank account is nothing.
My God. Oh,
He
wait.
summons her mage hand and slowly presses it on the back of Irha's head, and ever so slightly, every millisecond, pushing his head closer.
Iron is going to feel the mage hand on the back of his head as he starts to he pulls one of his hands to the back of his head and tries to swipe it away. As he's trying to not make this inappropriate, but it's also as tempting as it is.
Woman kiss.
Sera's just leering. She is openly listening to this.
He is also staring.
Conversation stops. Let's listen in on him, gang. You know what? Sire Leppy will wake up and watch.
Iron's gonna kind of turn around and look at everyone, noticing that they're staring as he gives a large, huge groan and grabs Maelie and drags her outside as he doesn't want anyone to bother them anymore.
Goes back to sleep.
The mage hand follows.
Oh, they're totally gonna kiss, hot make out when they're out there. I'm calling it Seino.
The mage hand follows to 30 feet, and then it presses
In the
itself.
distance.
It presses itself up against an invisible wall,
Yeah.
longingly
It's like
stroking it.
it's kind of like the scene in the Titanic where they're in the back of the car.
I hate y'all all so much.
What a coincidence. Goldenveer hates how poor Maelie is.
Oh my god.
Would you like to review her stock options?
No, dude.
Shows graph only pointing down.
God. We bully her too much.
Alright. Let's get this kissing done.
It's not even kissing!
Well, then I'm turning the camera. I ain't gonna
Why
that.
not?
I'm just
I mean-
kidding. Alright, and scene, go.
Anyway, as I was saying, as everyone was rudely staring, I was looking at Luka, and, you know, Irha's a little less whispering now since he's outside. He doesn't exactly have a soul. There's nothing there. It is absent. And
Well-
I don't know if you know that, if you think that means anything, but to me, that means quite a bit. Because everyone is supposed to have one, and when someone doesn't, it's very alarming.
That is kind of interesting. I didn't think that would be a side effect of what he was doing. I mean, we knew that this change was gonna be permanent and actually be a type of change, not just like makeup you can put on, you know. I've had the same option for a while, but I've never taken it because I wasn't entirely sure what that would entail. And I've never felt the need to. But, I guess this is just part of it. I can't remember. I always get so distracted. Did you ever look at any of the clowns in the carnival?
You know, I don't believe I did. I don't believe I ever decided to take a peek at any of them. Perhaps they don't have any either. But I think
It might.
It may
Oh.
be. Go ahead.
I mean, it could just be like something that happens. Clowns. I don't know. This could be perfectly normal, I suppose.
I don't think having a soul is anything normal. I don't think those clowns were normal either. So, I don't think Luca, once being human, now having no soul, is not normal. There's nothing normal about that. And he's acting strange. He's not acting Luca.
Change is change. I mean, all of us have acted differently at some point or another.
It's a change that I'm cautious of, because I'm unsure if it's dangerous.
Well, sure. I mean, I've had my questions about that too, and you know, I mean, I still question Sera sometimes, but don't tell her I said that.
You don't even have to get me started on Sera. I already know what she is. But, well, I think I just needed to get that out somewhere, so I wasn't thinking about it. I'm still going to be thinking about it. But, Irha kind of pauses for a moment as he kind of looks away. But I don't think I've had a chance to have, well, time away from the others for a moment. Do you... he kind of awkwardly fiddles with his hands before he moves his hands to Maelie's waist, pulling her a little bit closer. Do you mind if I share this moment with you? At least in quiet.
It's not quiet.
Well, away from the others.
No, I mean, it's not quiet in your head.
Oh, no.
This sounds awfully romantical.
I just wish I had more time with you. And I'm sorry that I haven't been, I guess, the best of companions.
I don't think you've been bad as a friend or a companion or anything. We've spent quite a bit of time together since coming to Arist.
Yes. But I just feel like I'm not treating you as I should be. However that works, I'm not quite sure. This is all very new. You know, Kenku's never were really the romantical type, so I apologize, and I guess it doesn't help that I have multiple people always talking in my head, more than just Gordonvia, although he's the loudest. He kind of looks away.
He's angrily writing memos in your head.
But what I'm saying is, I'm sorry. And I want to be better to you. And I want to be better to the party.
Maelie nods, understandingly. I'm always happy to spend more time with you, Irha. And I think you're just fine for the party.
Well, I hope so. And Irha will lean in and give her a small peck on the cheek, if that's appropriate.
Fuck.
And... but,
Goldenveer has a fiduciary responsibility to advise against this.
But, the best of luck with our journeys ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna meet a princess today, if Effie and Sera ever stop arguing.
They'll make up. They always do. But let's go ahead and head back and hopefully meet the princess and not have anything go wrong.
Hey, Maelie, how much money do you actually have? Like, that's
yeah, that's
money?
a good question.
I'm actually curious.
You see my character sheet?
Yeah. Oh, I see.
That's accurate.
Okay.
I forget what how to calculate what the platinum or the Drakenmark counts as. So,
all right,
you know,
Goldenveer has had enough, and he puts a counter in the top right-hand corner of your vision, Irha, which is Maelie's wealth.
And what is it?
It's how many Drakenmark you have?
I have just the one.
Okay, 1 Drakenmark. So it's like 2,000 out of 100,000 gold before she becomes an acceptable mate.
So 2,000 gold is the total thing of what I have?
Yeah, if you have 1 Drakenmark, it's like 21,
all right.
33. All right.
All right.
Now you have a special Goldenveer side quest. Maelie must be rich.
Fantastic. I'm so excited.
I'm glad. I'm glad you like this character development.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so
Please
happy.
Please leave her immediately.
Maelie watches all these expressions go over Irha's face, and she kind of just hugs him back.
Kiss him.
Are you doing okay, Irha?
Irha will feel the hug as he kind of gives her a big hug back, leaning into her slightly, giving a soft, big puff. Well, I think okay is an understatement. With all the recent developments that I've witnessed and seen and heard, and I'm hearing, there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot going on in the party. But if you want an honest answer, it's a no. But if you want a safe answer, it's a yes.
I'd always prefer honesty when it comes to us.
I understand. And I do as well.
What's got you down? Anything I can help with?
I'm not even down. It's just all these voices in my head. It's just a lot. It's more. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, as some would say. And it's just we're going through a lot of changes quickly. And sometimes I wish we were just back where we were.
Mm.
Not in space. Not dealing with horrors beyond imagination.
Well, can't go back. Can only go forward, far as I've ever found out. But, I should have looked into getting this enchanted. And she digs in one of her pockets and pulls out a little trinket on a red braided cord, and it kind of looks like a moon and a sun together on the same sort of pendant. She hands it to you. I got this for you while we were out shopping earlier, and it kind of reminds me of you, you know.
Ira will take the trinket in his hands and move it around between his fingers. He seems absolutely starstruck at this, as he thinks it's beautiful.
It's kind of like always changing, but always constant, you know? The sun and the moon. And,
Right.
Well, I'm sure there's got to be something in there that could enchant it to try and help calm down the voices in your head. But I didn't think about it when I bought it. I'd really like it if you'd wear it.
Well, of course. Do you want to put it on?
Her ears kind of go pink. Sure.
Ira will hand it back to her.
All right. And she thinks for a moment, and then she'll take which hand is your dominant hand?
His right.
And which one do you wear Rue's little bracelet?
On the left.
Okay, so she'll take your right hand, and she will kind of tie it like a charm bracelet at your wrist, and make sure it's knotted securely so it doesn't just fling off when we're fighting.
Ira will be holding out his hand for her as he watches curiously, putting the bracelet on. As this clicks on, he kind of lifts it up to whatever light he can, looking through the beads and the charms that are jingling on it, watching the shininess and flickering in his eyes. This is gorgeous. And it fits perfectly.
Oh, glad you like it.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'll cherish it, just like everything else you've given me. Just like I cherish you.
He smiles real big and gives his hand a squeeze. So you wanted to go back and see how they're doing?
Yes, let's head back to the chaos inside.
I'm sure we've stayed away long enough for the rumors to start flowing, and she winks at him.
Oh my god.
He gives a soft hum back and a big grin as he cleans up his act as he walks back in.
Meanwhile, back at the bar.
They've arrived. Ups have arrived, Seino.
Chronological. Okay. Alright. You two.
Timeline.
Go ahead.
Where were we at, Storm? I don't remember.
We were at the point where Effie and Sera just kept talking in circles about the principle of it, and Sera didn't feel like she went back on her word, and we were at kind of a crossroads where we both kind of explained to each other how we felt, and there was really no resolution.
She'll take an action then. She'll pull out from her evil-looking robe
Evil.
a giant bag of money that's even more full than what Effie gave her, and plop on the table.
And more evil.
Well, did you still want to go to the stock market?
Where'd you get that money from? I know you got 20,000 from Luca just right then.
Moto had a ring that I forgot about. He sold it for us.
That's still not the point. You know, Sera, you're my friend. And I want you to be able to do things that you want to do. You know? And when I gave you that money, our friendship means a lot to me, Sera. And by you taking that money and going and spending it all on a unicorn, it just, you know, I feel just hurt and betrayed. It's not about the money itself, Sera. I know that you can go get money. It's about the principle.
Here will look thoughtful. This isn't about the deal, is it? This is about emotion.
It's about both, Sera. When you say that you're going to do something and we come to an agreement, I figured that you're going to hold yourself to that agreement. And on top of that, we're friends. It makes it a little bit more complex.
She'll waggle the... Sorry, I was thinking about what she would say to that. She'll waggle the bag of money. A couple of gold pieces will spill over. I see. I should have brought you with me.
One person in this party, Sera, who I can see is quite leaning on keeping their word, as much as sometimes the rest of the party doesn't believe that I do. And for me, it was just a surprise that we came to an agreement on how that money was supposed to be spent. And it was spent on a unicorn instead of the stock market. Now, if this unicorn somehow is a master banker and is in itself part of the stock market, I can understand that. But I don't think that, from how you explained things to me, that it is. And that's what's hurtful, Sera.
You're correct. I saw something and I wanted it. So I got it. I did it with the intent to make back, well... I did it with the intent of we were always going to go through with it, which is what this is for.
I understand what you're saying, Sera. For me, I see it as the money that I gave you, regardless of anything else, should have went to the stock market. That physical money. Instead of buying something, spending the money, and somehow making it back. I understand your side of it, Sera, as well. You just so happen to be able to make the money back quicker than some normally do.
Yes, I thought I was quite inept at finances, but I seem to be, well... She'll give a lopsided smile that's all human. I seem to be smarter than I give myself credit for. Is it alright if we chalk this up as a learning curve? I'm not used to be able to just buy something because I want to. Usually I have to take it, not acquire it. Legally.
She nods, knowing her. She takes kind of a coin out and shows it to Sera. You see this? You see? She's holding it out.
She looks at it specifically with her wizard eyeballs.
And she is going to... She makes it disappear.
Sera admires. She does not try to see through it at all.
Yeah. And then she leans across the table and brushes Sera's ear behind her hair and goes, Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
god, look at this! And she pulls the coin out from behind Sera's ear.
Sera instead is just looking at Effie's tits.
Look! It was behind your ear the whole time!
Oh. Hmm. You're so delightful, Effie.
I understand what you mean, Sera, about being able to buy things. Look, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. And
Oh,
she
Sera looks
leans
even
in.
more excited. She loves secrets. What's that?
She leans
Sorry,
in and
Leppy
starts...
will lean in.
She'll slap
Well-
Sire Leppy with the tentacle in the face.
He'll go
This is
back
for
to
me.
sleep.
And she's whispering. You remember on Drakenholm?
Yes.
You remember how we got like a 10 Drakenmark stipend or some shit? Something like really for poor people?
Yeah, it was quite small.
It was quite small, especially for dragons. If they
That's
wanted
not-
us to actually
that's not
be
small.
successful,
That's
why wouldn't they?
a lot of wealth, actually.
Hey, God! We're having a conversation!
Okay, continue. It's fine.
And then all of the stuff that we actually wanted from the smithy was so fucking expensive. It's like they wanted us to die, Sera.
All I could buy was a single thing from Hodo.
I couldn't buy fucking shit. So, I decided to give us the best possible chance of survival. And I broke into the... What the fuck was it called? The stump. It was the tree
That
stump.
tree thing.
Yeah, the stump. I broke into the stump disguised as Alanis.
Oh, back when you could take the form of anything.
Yes. And I was able to make
Oh,
out
that's brilliant.
with a bunch of Drakenmark, which then, not only for myself, I was able to get items, but also for Luca.
Oh, Effie, we should do that more often. I can change my shape.
I understand, Sera, but the second time I did that did not end up so well as you could imagine.
Oh, that was that.
That was that.
Sierra laughs about it now.
Ha,
Oh,
ha, ha, ha.
I see now. No, I was always curious why you were not why you were unhappy with what they were going to give us. You just wanted more. I see.
So, I can empathize with your situation of actually being able to buy something. I just thought, and she kind of looks down at the table and fumbles with her thumbs. I thought I meant more than that to you.
Oh, she'll scoot around. She'll get weirdly close.
Kiss her.
And she'll say something that's both devil and then change it to human. You're my oathbound thief. But you're also my friend. For as long as I can remember what having a friend is. I'm sorry I
And
spent
that's-
your money on a unicorn because it was pretty. But if you're alright with it, we can still go through with the plan.
She looks at Sera. Please don't make me have to go through with oaths when we make agreements in the future.
I delight in those, but if you do not wish to do them, I will strive to not.
Do not want to make you have to do them, Sera. When I want to believe you at your word. I do not want to be like some of the other people you've encountered who look
She'll
at you
frown.
and just
Yes,
think,
no one seems to believe my integrity, which is always... I've never quite understood it. They seem to be very unfazed by the powers I have that give them advantage, but never seem to believe my word.
she kind of nods.
Very odd.
They also don't, and she's whispering at this point, they also don't know that a lot of the wealth that we have accumulated in this party have been helped by me doing thief stuff.
Yes, there does seem to be, well, I don't know, Seino seems to be an exception. But, the bumbling goodness.
She nods. Well, Sera,
Come on, let's go make some more money.
let's chalk this up to a learning experience for us both. I think for me, I'm an emotional woman. And while your word means everything to me, Sera, I understand that sometimes there's misinterpretations.
Yes, I suppose, it's not always easy navigating humanity and, well, being a devil. I'm getting rather tired of splitting both.
She nods, understanding being a changeling. It's okay, Sera, I forgive you.
Good.
Now let's go dump this all in fucking...
Yes,
What
I
would
have a good
it-
feeling.
Which one are we going with again, Sera?
I was thinking Maltos. It was the most vague, yet from everything I learned in the archives, they're not dead.
Do you think I can help repopulate them with my super womb?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you remember your dude?
I am teledonic. Perhaps I can impregnate you.
What was that guy you were always telling me about?
Which one? There's been several.
The one back on Conflux.
So we'll just do the initials VD.
Yeah, that one. You think he would impregnate me?
He seemed to have a pretty high moral code.
Are you saying that I'm not moral?
I'm saying I don't think he wants to impregnate anything because it is beneath him.
Yeah, but like if we could repopulate Maltos, don't you think that that's kind of neato?
I think it's I think it's an initiative we could turn to our own whims if we wanted.
Do you think that we can get the semen from the unicorn and sell that?
I think it would be a unicorn baby. It would be so cute.
We can just sell it back to the stable guy, and he'll just impregnate all the horses with the unicorn semen. And we'll make our money back.
Ooh. He is a stud.
He is a
You
stud.
saw him.
I did. I saw the balls swinging like pendulum.
I saw the stock market on the way. You want to go?
Okay, let's go, and then we'll go see the princess, right? That's the plan.
Yes.
Okay.
She'll stand up. She'll give Effie a peck on the cheek. And instead
will turn her head as she sees that she's going for the cheek and make it land on the mouth.
Sera's giant tongue will just flop out, all purple at this point.
Effie gags on it because it hits the back of her throat and her gag reflex.
What the fuck?
Good. Hey, you want to meet some royalty?
What the fuck, dude?
Hello?
Did the argument
Hello?
go well?
Yes, we're fine. Do you want to meet some royalty?
Well, it sounded like you had plans beforehand, but sure, yeah.
Yeah, we should gather everyone up. I need to
Adventure
tell
forth.
everyone what I learned about them.
And we're going to stock market.
Yes. Where'd they go?
They're
She'll go over
found
to Stella.
there.
Oh.
Her
She'll
mage
just slither
hand
her on way.
is still on the back, pressing on the back of Ira's head now that they are in range.
Hey. Hey.
Hello?
Howdy.
Let's get on with others.
Irha, you went around, unless Maelie filled you in. We have an audience with the princess of this place.
He was literally right there in the library with us.
She'll cock her head. Do you remember, Irha?
I remember enough to know that the princess is important and we have an audience with her and don't fuck up. That's what I know.
Very good. Alright, she'll do a roll call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. She'll huddle them all in the corner.
Who are we meeting?
We have an audience with the princess.
Princess?
From what we were told by the extremely attractive archivist, there is a queen, but the princess generally rules in all but name. And the price for this audience was trading the knowledge of how folly was created, and that is an entity of itself. The intent of what we're trading for was, do they know the word tier by now? Arcadum?
You mean Tyr the Wizard?
Yeah.
I think you guys have talked about it enough, yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we know Tyr.
And his experiments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think the clowns talked about it too.
Yeah.
Okay. The trade that we were looking for, or I was looking for with the archivist, was knowledge on Tyr and his soul experiments, which was locked behind a paywall of sorts. That was my original intent, but now we have this audience. Is there more you all would like to gain from this?
It doesn't really have much to do with the princess herself, but I would definitely like to find some sort of archon or noble or some such who could possibly train me a little bit more.
Like an Eris magic?
In astral magic, yeah.
Sure. They are beings of, I seem to have a crush on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they can get me pregnant?
They have their own dating, not app.
What's an app?
I think you could certainly try.
Notters.
Just a word of note, when we're going to meet this princess, polite thing to do would probably be to call her Your Highness. You know, we want to make a decent first impression, right? And
What if
she
the
just kind of
princess-
looks at Sera.
What if the princess gets me pregnant?
And then she just looks at Effie. Decent first impression. Please.
She shrugs.
I don't want to get
Not
kicked off another
scientifically
planet.
possible.
Hmm?
Not scientifically possible.
It is. It's possible. Looks at super womb.
Looks in direction of womb.
Sera, bring Seino into this. Seino, is there anything you wish to ask the Astrans?
Think not in particular. I found this book and he pulls out the guidebook of the Astral Legions that he bought with his money.
Ooh.
Maybe there's a follow-up to this that I could acquire via this, but this is no priority.
Are you reading?
I like reading.
Are you
I'm
reading?
quite fond of reading.
Are there pictures?
Seino,
Well, I
you're
assume there are
adorable.
like stances in there, probably.
We'll talk about books later. Right. Shall we go?
Do I now get abandoned in the book club?
You're now part of the book club. Come stand next to me.
Effie leans into Sera and she goes, "Do you think we now have 2 party members that have amnesia problems?"
Yes.
Effie rolls her eyes. Should we spend some time maybe on the travel to the next planet of like getting them all caught up on like everything?
If I wasn't so fond of them, I'd just eat them.
I understand.
She'll speak up. Well, come on, everyone. We have to make a stop at the stock market.
More shopping, goody.
She'll gather them all up like a proud tentacle mom, and her tentacle van.
I like how they look like stairs, because it was like 3 and then 2 and then 1.
Okay. Alright, so you guys are on your way to meet with the princess. You decide to drop off some wealth. You put it all in Maltos, right?
All red!
Maltos!
Okay. Just gonna make a note here.
And
What
it's
do we
35,000.
How much?
35,000.
I want to know about the steps, because she's actually got more now at this point. Is there a chart that says what goodies you get when you turn in your tokens for prizes?
No.
Okay. Then she'll do 35 and keep the rest for herself.
Okay. And... oh, I suppose there's one other thing that you can do here.
We could buy some dildos.
Well, no, you can
Yeah.
you can set up through the Master of Coin.
Ooh.
An actual trade identity that you
Yes!
can use for the Astral Harpy, and if you want to make a company, you can.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
Sera gives Effie the naming rights. What do you want to call it?
Tits Out Enterprises.
POE. Toe.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
All right. The Master of Coin will input that. All right, I now have a 35,000 gold investment from Toe Enterprises, from Toe, Tits Out Enterprises into Maltos.
Is it registered to Sera and Effie? The Enterprise?
Well, you have to decide who your CEO and all that is.
Sera will look at
Co-owners?
Effie. What do you want your title to be?
Chief Titty Officer.
She puts in CTO for Effie,
Yeah.
CTO, yeah.
and she'll put herself as CEO/CFO for
All right.
managing the money.
Okay. Tits Out Enterprises is now conformed to the two of you.
And it's
Good.
50-50 partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Locked in.
Good.
The Master of Coin will then reference you and say, whenever there are high fluctuations and opportunities for you to reinvest or to withdraw, you will be sent a message on this, and he will hand you an Astran bangle, which is just a bracelet.
Your
Do we
slaps that
each
shit
get
on.
one?
What'd you say, Storm?
Do we each get one?
Yeah.
Effie bangles up.
For once, Sera puts it on her regular human arm instead of her bedazzled tentacles.
Okay. And then the enormous line of investors will move up after you guys are done.
Do they look rich?
I mean, yeah.
Effie, can you never mind.
Okay. I see you've chosen not to push the button. Okay.
Yes, I have chosen not
Okay,
to push
good.
the button.
Wait a minute. Good. Good. Alright, so the party continues on to meet with the princess. And here we fucking go. Oh boy.
Sera will look her absolute best.
Effie always looks her absolute best.
Seino looks normal as always.
Seino wears his fucking gray gnome cap, dude.
Seino will always look homeless.
Maybe spends a little prestidigitation on the boys so that they can look a little bit better. Snap, snap, snap.
Yes, we're not.
Seino's beard has never looked better.
Luca now has glitter on his body in new outfit.
My downstairs smells a little bit. Maelie, I need some help.
Well,
Lord,
I give me just a second. I spent a little bit on the boys, and it's kind of got to take some time to recharge, you know?
Looks at Sera.
Spread 'em.
Great.
She'll get in there without magic
Oh my god.
and just full rag cleaner, like a sponge bath.
Right in front of us?
Yeah.
Right outside of the stock tree.
People in line are now like, what the fuck?
This is kind of like, who was it who pissed right outside or in front of the big banner? Who was that? Oh
Yeah,
my
it's a
god.
good old piss RP.
Yeah, just right there.
Effie gives a thumbs up. Thanks, Sera. I knew I could always count on you.
She goes in on her butthole too. And then she'll admire her super boom from the entrance. Does it look any different, Arcadum? You're the one who gave it to her.
It looks clean.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it
look
looks,
any different for
No.
super vagina?
No. It just looks clean.
She'll give her a pat on the thigh.
She uses her summoned mage hand to help her roll her flaps back up into her one piece.
Do you only have one of these?
The one piece?
Yes.
I have more. They're just on the ship, and we've been milling around for 4 or 5 days.
One piece.
It's the one piece.
The legendary one piece.
Yeah. The friends we made along the way.
Thanks, friends.
Okay.
No
I feel
worries.
very clean. And ready to meet the princess.
I feel very clean.
Meet her vag first.
I just levitate with my... like, levitate on my back with my legs spread open.
Maelie turns around to see first impressions. Come on, y'all.
When you talk, we use the mage hands to make your vag lips move. I'm gonna choke on my fries.
You're eating fries? I'm proud.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the best use of the mage hand spell, by the way.
Okay, and here we go. Just making sure I got everything ready. Alright. Alright, as the party makes their way towards the, closer to the center of Arist, as you have, I suppose, invitation would be, yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah. Hold on, I have to scratch my back. Sorry, it's so itchy. Oh, God. Okay.
Let me scratch it for you.
Man, I wish.
Sera puffs out her chest in the way you do when you're like, I'm very important. And she strides through the courtyard.
Seino walks normally, because he doesn't understand what royalty is.
Irha follows cautiously.
Luca does a couple of
Yes.
hand cartwheels and somersaults into the courtroom or wherever they're going to.
Okay.
Finishes with a pirouette and a bow.
So, as you make your way through Arist, eventually you come to a point which looks like an enormous elevator. Your credentials are checked, but you have an invitation and you are expected. And so, you are brought inside. You are investigated by the Erastian guards, the Astral Legion. You are checked for any weapons, any sort of nascent spell effects and all of that. You are instructed that your weapons will be sealed whilst you are before the princess. Any attempt to break these seals will be met with extreme prejudice.
Alright.
Does anything happen to Sera when her soulbound staff is sealed?
No.
Okay.
The seals are meant to be unintrusive.
Okay.
Alright, so eventually, you rise up through the elevator. The city of Arist begins to fall away, and then you enter the clouds themselves. And there, in great shining presences of ornate statues, decoration, and artificial light, you enter a place that seems to be made out of clouds. A palace forged out of the atmosphere of the artificial planet of Arist. You are brought through several chambers, and each of them are filled with libraries and forges and just different kinds of facilities, until finally you're brought before a very ornate chamber. As you stand before this chamber, you are inspected by 3 Astran servants, beings of pure energy. Even though they are beings of pure energy, many of them wear the facsimile of humanoid forms. Think, if you will, stylized sheets that the spirits fill. They move through the entire party, making adjustments to their outfits, essentially checking you for any additional forms of threat. Eventually, however, you are allowed entrance. And here we go. Let's see, we need to play. You guys hear that?
Yes.
Wait,
Not yet.
European internet?
Now it goes.
Now it goes.
Sounds pretty.
Europe is gatekeeping music from me.
You and me, brother.
Oh, pretty.
Pretty,
Soon
very
you
bright.
leaving me.
Let me know when, is everyone loaded?
I'm
Mhm.
loaded.
Yeah.
Loaded.
My eyes.
Same.
Alright. The party is brought forward, and as you approach, you will find a grand dais. At the center point, a chair made out of swirling cloud. As you get close to the dais, you can hear a soft, thrumming sound coming outwards from the chair. The sound of energy being processed, shifted, and transferred. As you approach, you can see that there is an entity seated upon the throne, but you are stopped as you reach the edge of the dais. And you see these creatures surrounding the dais. You see this.
Ooh la la!
You see what appears to be marble and gold inlaid statues with a thin sort of membrane skin. They are no doubt filled with the energy of an Astran. These gilded sentinels do not speak, but stand in the path, preventing your entrance. The presence on the throne shifts, and you will see that the princess herself has chosen to appear before you in nearly completely her natural form. Pure energy. Like a viscous, black material, moving and shifting like quicksilver. The only bit of clothing that she wears is a singular ornate white robe depicting her lineage. The almost liquid form of her movements seem to match the cloth, to where you're not quite sure if you're speaking to a person or to clothing. And you will see this creature. As you enter the edge of the dais, she will wave a hand, and the gilded sentinels will part. She shall speak with a voice that sounds ethereal and almost echoes within your mind as the words reach your ears. Unfortunately, I don't have my Goaxalar, so I'll try my best without it. Please, enter. You needn't fear. You are expected and welcomed. Elizabeth spoke very highly of you. You want me to move the party?
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Sera would still just stride right up. She's very impressed with this lady.
I bid you greetings, corporeals. Welcome to Arist. I am Her Royal Majesty, Princess Ast Ariana Mentora Kalakian, but you may call me Ari if you wish. I know that corporeal monarchs tend to require an honorific. We do not. I tend to speak to my subjects as we are, flames flickering in the astral void.
Maelie will tip her hat back in polite greeting.
I will give a bow. Very subtle.
What would
Luca
be
will
the-
completely prostrate himself in front of the princess until she says he can move. So he just sits there face down on the ground, bowing
Please.
to her.
Please, rise. Rise. You have shown plenty of respect.
He gets up.
I tend
Thank
to
you, sis.
favor direct conversation, for I get so little of it.
She'll move over here. Hello, Ari. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Serafina Rhyme, but I also go by a shortened name of Sera.
And I am Effie.
I go by the name of Seino.
Also
Hi.
shortened.
I am not Luca. He bows.
You can call me Maelie.
You can call me Irha.
She will give a nod. Well met, corporeals. You are welcome here. Elizabeth has told me of your arrival, and I understand that you have a problem. A problem that has the potential to cause great veracity. I am hoping that as a diplomatic head of state, I might be able to help. I also sense that you have a desire to be here. One, perhaps, riddled with answers that you seek. It is my hope to provide them.
There is something that I do want to tell you. I think it may be important to your people.
Please.
Effie kind of takes a step forward. We met some of the Astral Legion some time back. And They were very courteous to us. They let us talk to them, work out some sort of arrangement. When we were having that conversation, one of them mentioned that Arist might be going into civil war, civil unrest, because some people, some important people, suddenly came back. I want to tell you about what happened to me. I died on a continent called Calcatesh. I don't remember much of my death. I just remember a certain color. And then I was hurled through something, and I found myself awaking on Conflux. I was dead, and my soul was stuck, captured. I don't know exactly what. But then it was released, and I came back in a different body at the time. From talking to them and looking at the timeline of when I died and came back, maybe it's something similar. And I just thought that you should know.
I know very well of what you speak of. To be destroyed by the enemy and then to be returned upon the ceiling of the prism. The civil war that you speak of is perhaps inaccuracy. It is not so much a war. I do not wish to harm my people or have them come to harm. But it is simply a fact of overpopulation. We Erastians, Astrans specifically, control our progeny very meticulously, as the physiology of our incorporeal state can only be maintained through sufficient consumption of energy. I won't bore you with our procreation cycle, but essentially, our population is controlled, for it is very fragile. The return of our dear Astran brothers and sisters, once thought lost forever, has led to a serious and significant problem. It is the very reason that we have begun to trade with certain dangerous entities. But I have taken this upon myself to approach it through diplomatic means. An Astran, after all, makes an excellent guide or bodyguard. I can assure you that the civil unrest that we possess is something that will be dealt with soon. Now, as to your death, as you put it, it seems that you've recovered well, escaped, and now that you stand before me now. Elizabeth has spoken highly of you. Such a capable woman, I'm sure, will go far. She will lean back in her cloudy chair. But I sense there's more to this tale. Please, continue.
I'm glad to hear that you have this information. From our conversation with the Astrans earlier, it seems like there was not much information available. I'm glad to hear that it has made it to you, though. There's somehow, I don't know exactly what happened, but we found ourselves off a conflux. Sera herself, and she kind of gestures behind her to Sera. Sounds like she also had somehow gotten off a conflux. Above board, has Sera told the party about Primus and that fight? I honestly can't remember.
She tried to, and then it was actually Effie who was like, "Oh yeah, we fought Primus too," and the conversation didn't go anywhere.
Got ya. Okay. And she was somehow teleported to the place that we were at. We found ourselves leaving that place and starting to travel the Astral Sea, where we crash landed on Dragonstar, got another ship, and now we're here. And I believe that Sera and Maelie both have information that they are giving to you in exchange for some information for ourselves.
I am eager to hear it.
Effie gestures for the two ladies to step forward and join her.
Sera will clear her throat again. We have two initiatives, Ari. The first is a trade of knowledge. We provided to your archivist, Johas, the knowledge of how... You're familiar with the phrase, the folly of Mautos, correct?
Indeed.
Of how folly is... It's not an... Well, it's more than an event. Folly is a entity. Are you up to speed on what that knowledge was?
Explain.
So we have come to learn that folly was created. Created by the head of the order of this body that I have, of Taladon, and of the violet itself. And that was the hand. The violet infected the hand of Taladon, which he removed, cut off, and named Folly. And that hand is what grew into... I did not see it, but this group here has. It looks rather humanoid from what they've described. And Folly was released from his prison. And that is who we are chasing.
Released? By whom? And whom were his captors?
I believe...
will kind of
Go ahead.
slowly raise a hand. If I may intrude, Sera, I apologize. From what we understand is, me and my companion, Maelie, we were the ones who released him from the prison that he was in. And I want to just mention this was no ill harm. As Sera has mentioned that he is transformed into something more of a humanoid. Sentient. The captors were quite unsure of who exactly was, but we are in hopes that maybe we can find out more information for him in the future.
There was a man called Mr. Gray in the logs.
Mr. Gray.
And we are just in hopes that perhaps before history can repeat itself, we're able to stop it and negotiate. Because we only wish the best, and everyone deserves chances that perhaps they have never gotten. And they were only seen as something else.
You got a lot of gain on your mic there, Astra. We're hearing everything. But,
yeah, it's my mic's been having issues.
But the princess will nod, and then she will say, "That would explain the increased activities of the navigators. They've been increasing their search patterns, focusing, trying to find something."
Sera's gaze will narrow.
Effie
we ran
will
into a group
also
of those. Could you
Effie
tell us
will-
more about them?
will also gesture to the navigator skulls hanging off of Sera.
The navigators are beings from another sector, outside of Teledonic space and outside of the purview of Arist. They have found some way to cross the Great Divide, one that yet remains unconquered by our vessels. Whatever it is that they use in order to cross this has led them to move in relative secrecy. The building of the Twilight Station was perhaps one of the most indicative forms of their actions that I have seen. They do not converse with our attempts at diplomacy. They move unfettered for the most part. But to take such direct action means that whatever that you have done is enough that they have called for reinforcements. At the edges of our astral mages' ability to see into the astral sea, we have detected the forces of the navigators have begun to flow into the sector. Most notably, they have taken up refuge on a small moon just outside of Azengolt.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
When I was able to defeat them in digital combat, and one of the things while I was in their system, I was able to get a little bit of information from them, not a lot, but a little. One of the things that I was able to get out is that they're in search of traveler souls. They say that that helps empower them. And through my other side researches, I've heard that something called Amber, which I know in principle, not in practical application, can help hide our traveler signatures from them. Do you have any information about Amber, or where we can find it, potentially be able to shield our ship?
Unfortunately, Amber does not work exactly like that. Amber is a material with the unique physiological property that what it does is it blocks divination. It prevents the sight, the sound, the ability to astrally project all manner of these forms of protections. Something encased in amber cannot be detected. Someone with enough amber on them could perhaps avoid detection. But to place them upon a ship would be most folly, as your own detections for the vessel would not operate properly.
She nods.
But as to where amber can be found, other than our markets, you could perhaps seek out the nearby the nearby plane of Ori. I believe it has a ample amber supply.
She nods. Thank you. That's useful.
I'd like to follow up on Azengold. Sera with her giant new wizard brain of history. I understand that was a place of particular interest many eras ago, with synthetic life and Tyr, the wizard.
Ah, yes. The ever-magnanimous and impetuous Tyr. I remember the day that I met him. He was obsessive. She will continue. As to his comings and goings and his reasons for doing what he does, I cannot speak to them. He was frustratingly mad. But yes, Azengold was once at the forefront of many of the worlds due to its technological innovations, challenging the high magics themselves before they succumbed to their own hubris. Last that I heard, the great dragon Hizagori had sacrificed himself in order to restore the broken planet.
Sera reflects on Hizagormi. The void fields. That's what remains of him, isn't it? Izagormi.
Hizakori, she'll correct. And no, the void fields are the result of something far, far more insidious.
Yeah, I'm taking his.
Has Hizagori been felt or identified anytime recent?
No, and it will be some time before he returns. The astral cycle of his restoration will take some time to complete.
So Tyr. And, well, synthetic life. I was attempting to connect the dots if that was related to folly. I was hoping to gain access to the archives of what the Astrans have. Well, I actually understand it's more of the Taladani, but on Tyr.
The records are most likely expunged, but you may seek whatever you wish within our archives. I will tell you that it is unlikely that Tyr had a hand within it, for the folly of Maltos, I believe, predates him. Or at least, his ability to interact with it.
Sorry, did you say folly predates Tyr?
Well,
or the opposite?
I said that.
Said what?
Folly is before Tyr.
Folly is before. Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
The folly of Maltos occurred before Tyr's rise to power. Whether or not it happened before Tyr existing is unclear.
Okay, because I have Tyr as in the second era, and I have folly as much later after that.
Yes.
Like folly's in the 5th era.
Well, the folly of Maltos, the event, and folly, the entity, are two separate things. They mean the same thing, but you get what I'm saying?
Kind of. I'm stuck on the timeline. I don't understand how. I don't understand how Tyr can. How folly predates Tyr when Tyr is like 2,000 years before that.
Because Taladon predates Tyr.
Oh, okay.
And folly is comprised of Taladon. So it's Astrans speak very literally.
Okay.
Has Tyr been around recently? He seems kind of old.
Not for many cycles.
Is he dead?
In a way, I suppose.
He's probably alive, Effie, in the same way Taladon is.
Shattered and divvied across some lands?
The consequence of seeking immortality.
Do you think you could chop me up and I'll be immortal?
Sera does not respond in this setting.
Effie shrugs.
So the Twilight Station, it was built by the Navigators, not the Taladani.
Correct.
Odd. Do you know if they work together? It was Taladani magic that summoned me there.
It is most likely that the Taladoni based much of their technology upon the Navigators. They have long interfered with our progression.
By they, you mean the Navigators?
Yes.
Do you have any insight into how the Navigators would have found Folly, locked him up. How do those paths cross?
You will see that the Astran princess becomes very still. And then she will say, "It is difficult to speak on things that up until recently have been taboo to do so. To speak of the undulations of prismatic forces previously could lead to one's ruin. The navigators are a mystery to my people. They do not speak to us. They do not attempt diplomacy. They do as they wish, and if resisted or bothered, they fight back with an incredible force. Although I have a suspicion. My suspicion tells me that these navigators are either servants of or servants to the prism. The way they move to the Great Divide tells me that they possess a primordial understanding or force of the nature of our world. Perhaps they bound Folly, for they knew what would happen if he were allowed freedom. One could surmise.
And what is that?
What is what?
When you say they bound him because of what Folly could do by having freedom. I'm curious on your opinion on that.
I cannot say for certain. There are thousands of chronological paths that could be taken. The endless twisting of fate and the great threads of the tapestry. One cannot see the whole, whilst they are a single piece of it. But my intuition tells me that there is a great decision coming. There is a crossroads, one that is undeniable. Folly's release from the navigators would seem to me to be indicative of one thing. That the only possible way that we could see... Hold on. Come on. I hate this. Yeah, it's very annoying. I'll reset. Folly's release from the Twilight station of the Navigator's grasp is indicative of one thing. That now a possibility of a decision can be made, rather than prevented. One can surmise that the Navigators are afraid of what might happen, which means they are afraid of the decision that might be made. And if what you have said is true, and they have deigned to lock him away, then one can only stipulate that there is prismatic forces at play. And once the colors are at play, anything is possible. I cannot give you a definitive answer on what will happen, only that now something may happen.
What would Sera know from growing up in Highfall about the colors? Like, is all of that new to her? Does she have a rudimentary understanding?
No, that's forbidden knowledge, basically.
So she doesn't have a clue? Okay.
You know only what you've learned through your adventures.
Okay. Alright, you speak of the prism and the colors. Could you help us understand the basics?
I will elucidate you. In our world, there are 7 aspects of creation, represented through the 7 promises made by Lord Death. They form...
Effie clutches.
What's up?
her pocket. Effie clutches her pocket where the lost stone is, but continues to listen.
And from that, a prism is made. Its many facets, its corners, its lines, like a gem, representative of the center of the wheel of life. These concepts are mostly esoteric, using to describe a function that is otherwise shapeless, formless, and invisible. But it is all there, still the same. The colors, as they are referred to, or prismatic forces, which I believe is their more proper name, are the manifestations of these forces of nature. And of them, these forces of nature, bring upon themselves the manifested will of the aspects of our world, all of them bounding from life's constant dance with Lord Death. The colors themselves are separated into different pieces. Of the 7, they have with them a numerological representation, a vestige of power placed around its number, its shape, and overall its color. Each of these pieces representative of the Great Prism. The colors are indigo, representation of death, sacrifice, to overcome one's trials. There is the blue, the representation of the dream, of reflection, and the whimsy of imagination. It is formed of a symbol of a cross. There is the green, symbol of life in its triangular form, representing health, abundance, and the unfettered growth. There is the yellow, taking the form of a cube or square in the 2D plane, a representation of time, preparedness, and responsibility. Oddly enough, this is where the material of amber is forged from. It is unclear how. It is also believed that there are other manifestations, physically speaking, of the colors within our world, but few have found evidence of any of the others. The next is orange, the fuel of ambition and avarice and desire, to seek, to take, to make one's own life. It is represented by the orange star of 5 points. The next is the red, wisdom, camaraderie, teamwork, represented by the 6-pointed star. And then there is the enemy, the violet, mercy, memory, represented by the 7-pointed star. Each of these pieces form the prism that enacts the laws of our world.
Sera will clear her throat. Order and law. Which one does that most align with?
The colors are above moralities, above law and chaos and evil and good, similarly to the state that Lord Death is. But you see, the prism, though it is made of its colors and forged into its gem, there are many lines and corners and cross points. Law, order, chaos, good, evil, and all the aspects of creation that one can distill from their experience. Each of these things are representative. But the colors do not take any governance of them directly. They simply are. One could find law in each of the colors, for example, and yet still in none of them.
Can you tell me a little more about Lord Death?
Lord Death is the one above all. He is... It is difficult to describe. Lord Death simply is. He is the most is than anything else. When life came into being, it came into being within Death's presence, enamored with life. Death began its dance, made its promises, converted to covenants, and has been its eternal guardian ever since.
What
Lord,
are the covenants of death?
the covenants are formed of the 7 promises made to creation, made to life itself. They are the most fundamental forms of the colors, for they are forged from these promises, or covenants, as they are referred to.
Feel or prompt. What are the names of those covenants?
They do
I
not
understand the
have
names of the colors.
they do not have names as you and I think of them. They are a representation of concepts. But I suppose if one had to classify them, they are the covenants of death, dream, life, time, ambition, wisdom, and memory. The 7 pieces of existence. The covenants representing Death's commitment to protect such things, so that life may not become stagnant or to cease to exist.
Effie kind of looks back at Sera. Before I change topics, is there anything else you want to know?
Her brain's expanding. She'll chew on the inside of her mouth. A very human gesture.
Yes,
What-
no.
When I was brought back, it was as a Taladani wizard. Yet all of my understanding of Taladani is from happenstance. Is there a what is the... She'll try again for the 3rd time. Lord Death sounds like, as you said, the one above all. What was Taladon's? I don't think relationship is the right word, but reverence, perhaps, of Lord Death.
I do not know.
Do you know where Taladon came from? I was trying to find traces of him back on Dragonstar.
I believe he is from Maltos.
Go ahead, Effie. I have much to think on.
Well, if I may, actually. I've just got one question about this particular topic. You know, before Effie changes the subject, Miss Ari. You said that you thought maybe the navigators were afraid of a decision that could or might possibly be made, but you don't have any more information about what sort of decision, do you?
The specific decision is unknown to me. But if the navigators wish to seal Folly, then they are afraid of what might happen. And as such, his continued freedom is now a semblance of something could happen or will happen. Make no mistake that Folly, if even the preliminary results of your research is true and what you have told me, possesses great power and could destroy much if left unchecked, or quite the opposite. There is an option perhaps has not been found yet of why the navigators would fear him. I do not believe they fear annihilation from his use, or perhaps they do. I wish I could be of more help, but I personally do not know why they are connected, only that they are.
Well, thank you for that insight. If I may be so bold, part of what we'd like to do is go and talk to Folly again and try and convince him to, if he is going to be free, use what powers he has for the good of many to try and prevent those unfortunate outcomes that everyone seems so worried about. I don't want to be too bold, but could I get some reassurance from you that that you don't try to stand in our way or influence him first? That sounded harsher than I mean. I'm sorry.
You misunderstand. It is not my intention to do any of those things. Arist is a neutral entity. If Folly were to provide some threat towards us, we would defend ourselves, but no. The creature deserves its freedom, for as long as it continues to operate in a way that does not break our laws, or the laws of common decency, I suppose. And yet, there is a very real threat to its actions. The navigators rarely do not do something without reason. At least I have never seen them do anything without reason. There must have been a reason for his sealing.
Why do you suppose they would have built the Twilight Station here to contain Folly and not take Folly back to their sector?
An excellent question. Perhaps it was too much of a risk to transport through the Great Divide. Perhaps Folly cannot enter another realm. Or perhaps it is something even more insidious. Maybe a weapon placed against those that it would conquer.
Perhaps storing it away for use against this sector.
Maelie tips her hat with a genuine smile towards the princess. Says, well, thank you. Much appreciated. She'll step back in line.
Do you know of other creations of the navigators in this sector? There was the Twilight Station. Any others?
If they exist, I am unaware of them. Which is possible. Navigators are quite powerful in their technology.
Effie glances to Sera to see if she's done.
They didn't have a soul, as I've come to understand it. I found that quite odd. I know very little of this. I only just recently understood there is another sector. Is there any other life there? Is Lord Death see over that as well, or just this one?
Yes.
If
you were to think of life as the great tree Yggdrasil, we are on one branch. There are other branches.
Do you mind if I sit? Sera looks a little wobbly at the overwhelming amount of knowledge.
She'll conjure a chair. Please.
She'll sit down in more of a collapse. And her world expanding immensely. Oh, Effie, go ahead. I need a minute.
That's okay, Sera. Going back to Tyr and this artificial souls, artificial something. Was he successful in his experiments?
Can you repeat that again, Storm?
The Tyr, when we originally were swapping knowledge, one of the things that my party mentioned was artificial souls. Was Tyr successful in his experimentations?
You speak of a synthetic soul, and despite the terrible things that he has done, yes, Tyr was instrumental as the Seven stood against the enemy. The prism was resealed. Tyr, his whereabouts are unknown. Many presume him to be dead.
You seem to know a little bit about Complex. One of the things that I became while I was there was something called Fateless. I was always confused on how somebody could be removed from the Tapestry of Fate until she kind of gestures to Luka. Until that happened. Do you think Tyr had anything to do with any of this if he's creating something artificial?
There are perhaps some correlations, but generally one that becomes fateless is simply removed from the tapestry of fate. Meaning that the inclination towards the traveler's souls and its ability to affect the world which it lives cannot be done so through normal methods. Each of us that are a part of the tapestry are aided by fate's design, by the invisible hand of the matron of fortune, matron of fate. Those that remove themselves will find themselves bereft. There are some that prefer this form of freedom, but others do not.
Thank you. I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there anything or any questions that I can answer for you?
Indeed. You say that you are seeking Folly. What do you intend to do when you find him, precisely?
Effie gestures to Maelie and Irha behind her. They're going to have a picnic with Folly and try and convince him to not use his essence for bad, but instead for good.
Your intention is to use diplomacy to convince this creature to not use its great power for what you consider to be evil?
Effie...
That's correct.
Effie does the Will Smith gesture.
The Will Smith gesture.
towards Maelie and Irha.
That's about the gist of it. Yes, ma'am.
I apologize for my words, but do you not find that to be incredibly naive? For what even is your definition of the greater good or evil?
Well, I believe naive is a very good word to use, because that's exactly what it is. There's choices in our lifetime where sometimes we just have to understand this is just perhaps for the better. When we're tackling such a great force, such as Folly himself, there's not much else we can do rather than try to make the best of it. The silver lining, I suppose.
So you believe it is a mistake to have released him?
No, it is not a
No.
mistake. Not at all.
Why?
Why? He was imprisoned for who he was. I believe that he's had absolutely no chance to
How
live
do you
the
know
life
that?
that we have. Because that's what he's told me. That's what I've known. And I'm trusting.
And you
his
believe
word.
that he would tell you the truth? Why? If he is a prisoner, would he not have said anything to be released?
Well, Miss Ari, that is just a gamble, ain't it?
No.
It's a gamble.
It is
a
not,
gamble.
It is not a gamble. To presume it to be a gamble is the inaction that you do not have foreknowledge of what it is and is not. Your choice to release him is a choice that by your own volition, as you have stated here, is because you believe it to be right, so it is not a gamble. You did it because it was right. Or did you not?
I mean, why would I just willingly let someone be imprisoned from what I've heard?
Because it is justice?
Wrongdoings. Miss Ari, with all due respect, my entire being is justice. That is who I am. Me as a paladin, I would not be willingly letting someone out of a prison if I do not feel like they deserve something more, something greater. Just as you and I and everyone else in this room, everyone deserves a second chance of redemption, and I believe that he is a child in mind. You give a child a playground and they will play and they will go around and mess things up. Granted, he's way older than probably anyone in this room. I don't know about you. But he deserves to be taught, to be led, and to have companionship. Just as we do. And just as you care about the servants, or not your servants, but the people with you, it is I that I care about the people around me as well. And I care about what people have and the quality of life. And my companion Maelie and I, we believe that his quality of life could and can be better as long as we continue to look at the silver lining despite every information we've been told. And granted, is this naive and a little bit childish? Yes. But I believe that this is a choice that me and her are going to continue to be gung-ho on. And if it does not work, my party and I have already discussed the other options.
And what other option is that?
Killing. And fighting to the death.
The creature will kind of vibrate with amusement. So, being a being of justice, you believe that the creature that you have given freedom to can only be allowed that freedom if they act in the way that you see fit.
Well, more so. I believe everyone could be acting different. Good is described in many ways, as I am not just me, myself, I'm not the most righteous person. But I am someone who does his best to understand. When I mean fighting to the death or fighting, I believe that I have taken that as the last resort.
And yet it is a resort that you deign yourself to have the authority to make.
Well, what other resort do you want me to say?
You misunderstand. My purpose is not to correct you. It is to simply reveal to you the erroneous approach. By your own volition, you have dictated that by your own belief structure, that Folly was falsely imprisoned, even though you do not know the terms in which he was done so, not truly, and that upon his release, you now seek him to talk him out of something that you know not of whether or not he will even do, a possibility that exists. And furthermore, you enact upon it by saying that if he does not contour to your viewpoint of good, that you may kill him.
Well, I think the imaging of good from what we grasp onto, as I've said in previous conversation, is very wide.
Indeed.
I do not know.
And yet, you find yourself stating that you are a being of justice and are infused with this authority to make that judgment. I wonder if there is a preponderance towards that your forcing of that choice upon him is not an even greater evil. For that is the choice that you will find yourself in, should things play out the way that they seem to have been, is that you will have this conversation with a being that you do not understand, that you call a child, but is many times your senior in existence. You presume much and know little, and by your own volition and the corporeal word of gung-ho, will see the silver lining and ignore all else to your decision. What you have just said is quite dangerous, and indeed, you are a warden as well. You imprison him in a life that perhaps he does not wish. Because when one threatens death, how can that be a choice?
Well, I think I've come to slightly grasp what you're saying to me. Death is not an option that I was wanting. That is an option that the rest of the party has discussed.
So you shift blame to your companions? Are you not the
Well,
being of justice?
it was also an option that we were given by a couple of deities. It wasn't going to be even in our repertoire of choice. It's something that we ourselves have been rather forced into. We were lucky enough to persuade them to let us have our time to talk to him. Honestly, I think you might be surprised, Miss Ari, what can be accomplished over a good meal.
I have no surprises of what can be done with diplomacy. And as I said, my intention is not to correct your line of thinking. I challenge it merely to see how well you have thought it out. For if what I intuit that is to happen is a great decision will be held before you, one that could spell doom for far more than you intend, the rippling effects of your choices when placed within the grand tapestry can cause things to happen that you never would have guessed. I have seen its ilk before, especially in traveler souls like yours.
You've seen traveler souls before.
Of course. I have met with them many times. The seven of the past.
Effie ponders.
What happened to them? The seven of the past.
They played their part. The wheel turned, and then it didn't, until such a time as it completed its turn, and the prism was repaired. These are things known by few, to really only those that possess the cardinal sight.
We had a companion that had the cardinal sight, but he is no longer with us.
He's with us in physicality. He is now but a shell of himself, as he is mummified.
It is no doubt that he has been consumed by his sight. He will need guidance.
Is that... This may be too bold, Ari. Is that what you have? Cardinal sight.
Indeed. I see before me the faceted souls of the traveler. Each one of you a sparkling diamond shifting and twisting in its refraction. Your potential is different from others. Your potential can be rewoven. The traveler's soul is many things, and one of those things is a soul that is capable of seeing the tapestry around it and pulling upon the threads of fate. You're in a position to do more than most, hence why I am challenging your perspectives.
The long and short of it, Miss Ari, I've been able to track the trajectory of the enemy previously, and where it was incomplete. Where I see folly now, and the trajectory that he is making, is to complete that cycle. I probably am speaking to somebody who already knows, but if that cycle is completed, that's disastrous for everyone. We cannot let that arc be completed, and it's already on its way to doing so.
I still think you're misinterpreting. If you don't mind the interruption.
Where I am stuck is, if the navigators imprisoned Folly, why are they not trying to stop him? Perhaps they do not know where he is.
Or they're
Perhaps they're
not
trying to
capable
find
of
him.
it anymore.
Like, should they not be our allies instead of our enemy?
The princess will move in her chair. If only I had an answer for that question. They do not speak with me. But one could surmise that perhaps the reason that they hunt you is because you released him.
Is that trace upon us?
Who can say? We do not have knowledge of the full extent of the navigator's technology. Perhaps they have the capacity to track you, perhaps not. I do not know.
She'll look at her group. I think it is only fair to assume we will run into them again. We will have to discuss later how we wish to address that.
I think we'll probably be pleasantly surprised. We've considered a lot of other options, and this seems to be the best option to come out with the potentially best solution. Although your insight was useful, I think, and Maelie kind of gives a glance real quick at Irha's shadow and then back to the princess. I think we'll find what we need to make the right choices when we need to.
Sera's still in her chair, feeling a little overwhelmed, but starting to get over it. And she'll, because coming from that sense of overwhelm, she'll just ask another bold question. Ari, why do the gods of this sector not intervene?
Because
they have
cannot.
given us an initiative, but they do not help.
Can you guys not hear me? Like, I've answered. I feel like I'm being talked over.
I heard you.
I heard you.
Oh, okay.
Effie nods. Sera, that's why they've tasked us to do this.
So
Because
why can
they
they
have
not?
told us. They told us that they cannot intervene. That's why they choose champions.
Why can't they, Effie?
Drugs.
It is a part of the covenants. Once a deity has been forged, its ability to limit the corporeal realm is limited. Most notably, each of your deities can only affect where they have jurisdiction, where their reach can be seen and felt. So if you follow a deity from one planet, it cannot affect that of another planet. There are some deities that can be felt in any planet because they are connected to it. The Astral Sea is ruled by the Red Pantheon, although they have been absent as of late.
How does... You said the covenant, and I understand this might be too much for me, but... Ascension. Who decides that? Is that Lord Death?
Ascension is decided by fate and life. There is a level of chaos that decides who ascends and who does not. It is the faculties of this seemingly random process of which it is decided. Many try at greatness, but few ever succeed. But I will say that those with a traveler's soul certainly have an advantage.
You mentioned, Ari, that you see pieces of the Traveler. Of all of us. Is the suggestion that together we make up an entity?
That is a misread on what I said. I said you have the soul of the traveler, meaning you, a traveler, not indicating a greater one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Transformer?
No, there's no... Well,
Transformers!
We could
Well-
have been Voltron.
you would... She did not say it in that way,
Well,
but
that'd be-
that... Okay, to be clear, I'm not saying that isn't something that exists. What I'm saying is that the way that I said that was not a branching point that she was giving you.
Okay.
That's
If we do like a human centipede,
Ew, stop! That's so great. I hate that.
Please
I
stop
haven't watched the
talking.
movie, but I read the wiki and I regret it.
The movie. So I think there's like 3 movies of Human Centipede, and each one of them is just more horrible than the last. Because each time the Human Centipede just gets bigger and bigger.
that's terrible.
It gets longer. Like there's a
Ugh,
prison
please
one,
stop,
and all
please stop, please stop. I don't
No.
care. I don't care. Please stop.
Hang on, can I just finish this one
Miss-
thought?
Okay, fine. Then let
And
me
so there's a prisoner one, and all the prisoners, like, it was like a death row thing, and so instead of sending to death row, they all tied their assholes and their mouths together, and they would one.
Why did you want to finish this thought?
Because I needed to.
Okay.
Alright,
Miss
thank you.
Ari. Was there ever a traveler soul that ascended?
To deityhood?
Yes.
Oh, there have been several.
Which ones?
You would not know of them. For many of them have been... They simply become part of the Seven. When the Great Wheel tries to turn.
What keeps the wheel from turning?
The enemy, which has since been defeated. The wheel has turned now.
But what would it gain from preventing that?
That is a discussion that is dangerous to have, and I will not have it. We do not know how much of the enemy still yet lingers within our world. It is presumed that once the prism was sealed, the colors returned to their role as the forces of creation. But their power still exists. And it will not be by my words that any are led to those that they should not be led to.
I understand. A different question then. How did the colors escape?
I do not know. From what I have been able to gather from the archives, I know only that there are a few truisms, I suppose you might look at. Things that forge creation. Things that perhaps enacted an inevitability between it. And one of those things, proselytized by Tyr's research, and seeable by those with the cardinal sight, is there must always be a traitor. And as such, traitorous color, the violet, shattered the prism. Why? How? These are questions I do not know. Only that it happened. And that it has such been repaired. What'd you say, Storm? You cut off.
I said, well, Miss Ari, our plan is to go to the last known location of Folly. We have one more pit stop to make. We are going to try the idea of these two, and she gestures to these two chucklefucks over here.
I am a chucklefuck.
And go from there. I can talk for the rest of my party. Really appreciate your time and the sharing of your knowledge. Is there any other advice that you give us on going on this endeavor? I know that we're not quite terribly strong, but we are going to try our best.
My advice is to realize just how strong you are. You possess traveler souls. More of an advantage than any of us can ever hope to have. Your fate is not written, predetermined. Threaded it might be. You can pull upon the threads and change it. My advice is to do so. And when the time comes for your decision to be made, do it with all of yourself. Have no doubts. For the worst thing that you can do, the greatest folly you can experience, is a lacking conviction within the face of perpetual triumph.
She thinks about her own conviction. Just cues and gives a little bit of a half bow. Thank you.
Well then, corporeals, it was a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck.
Sera will stand up. She feels deeply inspired from that speech. Thank you.
Seino gives a slight bow.
Maelie tips her hat.
I will give a bow.
Luca does too.
You mean not Luca?
Not Luca, yeah. Instead of bowing, he just beds backwards.
Sus Luca, sus Luca.
He reverse bows.
Yeah.
He does
Is that like the
lean back.
disrespect?
Now lean
Lean
back.
back. Lean back.
Now lean back. Do the stanky leg. Do the stanky
Do the
leg.
stinky leg.
The anti-bow.
That's horrible. Instead of leaning forward, he leans back.
God,
Oh my god.
I am exhausted. I want you guys to know, like, I am so. Like,
That was a shitload
That
of
was
data. That and the
great.
archives. We've gotten
That was
so
a
much.
lot. That was a lot.
I dropped some big boy knowledge on you guys and had to roleplay a character with cardinal sight. God damn, dude.
I got
Are we
3
going
more
back
pages
to
of
the
notes.
ship now?
Well, on our way out, I would have loved to look at anybody who was hanging out in court, see if I could find someone to train me.
Oh,
Needs
yeah,
a
that's right.
mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To train you in,
Astral magic?
yeah.
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 Do I see any of those archons that Johan mentioned? Would be willing to take?
Yes. I think Amelia. So let me see. Or excuse me, Emiliaila.
Uh, Our next session's gonna be June 1st, you guys.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
crazy.
That's crazy.
What?
What?
June 1st. Next session.
Huh?
Oh. Oh, is,
Oh wait, we have May.
is the RP over? Anything for me to smash?
Can I get my fries now?
He's gonna he's gonna be doing a lot of roleplay with his fellow gnomes.
Mm.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yes!
And this session or June 1st?
Oh no, soon. Oh, I have
Soon.
I have so much broken German to speak with him.
Oh god. Also, I know this is like a very like out of the like wild request, but Arcadum, I don't know if like this is a good offer. If you need like to go early to rest your brain, like just let us know, please. Because that was
I'm okay.
your
I'm,
brain.
I'm tired because it's so fucking hot in here. Like that's why. Like it's just
okay.
It's I'm melting in my apartment and everything sucks and I hate it.
Is your AC broken?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been broken and they're never gonna fix it and it's okay because I'm not gonna be here much longer, so it's fine. It's just
You're gonna die?
No.
yes, I'm dead.
No.
Goodbye.
No.
Whee!
Well, no
Welcome
band.
to the
You heard it here
No
first,
band.
guys.
But Arcadum are extensions.
No band, no bitches, no nothing.
All right, Maelie.
No gnomes.
No.
You linger behind in the astral court, and you ask around for any that can train you in the astral arts. And you'll do. Yeah. Because of your good standing with the princess, you are actually given time of day.
Oh, cool.
And one of the Astrans will approach you and will give you a deep bow, introducing herself as Amelia, the Star Bride.
Maelie will tip her hat in
Oh,
return.
damn!
Wow, look at this lady.
So
Big
once
hard to lose.
So once again, just like all the other ones, she's basically just like a synthetic skin suit that's just filled with an Astran being.
Mm-hmm.
She will approach. She will say, "Your Highness has requested that I would help you with your magics. Is that true?"
Oh, I'd be very much obliged if you could.
Possess the astral gifts, yes?
Sure do.
Well then, show me.
Um,
It's gonna
Maelie
be
will-
a montage!
Maelie will gesture to the already starlight armor that she's wearing.
Okay. Oh, actually,
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm gonna do. Seeing that you're actually capable of casting astral spells, I think it's time to give you something big.
Okay.
Here we go. She will gift you a copy of the Astral Codex. She will state that you will find the secrets to astral magic within it, and that it is a gift from Her Highness.
Thank you.
Alright, so the Astral Codex is actually a fucking lot more than more spells. So, as of this point, you guys have been traveling using an angel, right? Which handles all of the calculations of how to get to where you're going. However, a person like Maelie, or even though the definition of person is slightly misused on Sera, arcane casters of that high level
Wink.
can actually learn spells that allow them to teleport from planet to planet. However, such spellcasting not only requires an incredible amount of spell energy, but also the mathematical knowledge on how to make that teleport precise. The Astral Codex contains information on all of these, or all of a variety of different kinds of places to go. So essentially, think of them like map markers. There are many different codexi that can be found in the game, but the Astral Codex gives you the ability to teleport to Arist, and also to all of its satellite outposts of different shops, of different traders, and rest points that are dotted throughout the Astral Sea.
Huh. Wow.
It also has astral spells.
Cool.
Most notably, it gives you, God, what is it? It's, I cannot remember if I just called them red spells. Well, anyway, they're nebula spells. Spells that can only be cast depending on the nebula that you're in. So, they're pretty potent. And there you go.
Very cool. Maelie will nod her thanks.
Boom, boom, bam.
She'll hide that book away in a secret pocket in her robes before getting back in front of Sera for sure.
Secret pocket, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Secret knowledge.
Knowledge, secrets. Alright. Does anybody else want to do anything else on Arist? Or is it ship time?
Ship
Yeah, here's
time,
my to-do
ship
list
time.
of 20 million things.
I mean, Smooch is like, no, we can leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
The
you to
shit
come in on Saturday.
It is Saturday. I came in already.
I
I even came early.
Hey, come! I said come!
I said it.
Come!
I said the thing. Come.
Oh yeah, there's a uniform. Unicorn?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yes, we do.
My new boyfriend!
Wait, we have a uniform?
Oh, the infector grub's still there. Good.
Oh,
Lucky.
yes.
That's
Oh, look at our
Without
ship
him, we ain't leaving.
such a
Nine to
meme.
nine.
Such
We
a
haven't seen
meme.
this in so long.
Oh, there we go.
Nine.
Nine to nine.
One of our ship upgrades.
My loading
done.
button disappeared. Oh, okay, there I am.
I mean, your ship upgrades would have been done, so.
Ooh,
Oh,
cool.
no new map? Boo.
I have to get it made!
Boo.
Boo! 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 Bad dad, awful, stupid, dumb.
Bad dad.
No, I'll have a new ship map made for you guys.
Oh.
Oh.
He's looking around.
Also, Bright Eyes is back here in the corner, being fucking Damon evil.
What a champ. What does this fancy unicorn do? What's his character sheet?
He does what a unicorn does. He's a fucking unicorn.
What does a unicorn do?
A unicorn has the following effect. Wow.
Look fabulous.
So unicorns have a
I like how you
continuous.
moved my boyfriend away. There we go. Let me go over here. Okay.
It has a continuous aura against evil.
Oh.
So you actually can't really interact with it.
LOL.
It also has the ability to speak to all animals. It is also a natural spellcaster. It is a
9th level wizard.
It is the equivalent of a 7th level cleric.
Jesus Christ!
Damn.
Wow.
Dang.
Look, guys, I found another ally.
It is in fact a mount and an ally. Yes.
Ta-da!
Oh.
Unicorn.
However, it can only be mounted by a virgin. So
Wait, since we all died and we haven't had any action.
Yeah, it's my
Everybody
idea.
except-
only Maelie.
Oh.
Wait.
I presume.
Wait,
Wait,
Sera?
what? Oh.
Sera?
Like, no one in this group has had sex except for Effie with her
Effie.
god. And I don't even know if that counts because it's a god.
I mean, are we counting past life?
Yes,
too?
it's counting your past
See?
lives.
See?
Even
Oh,
though
look
you
at
were
You know
Lord.
what's really funny with me? I used to be a bird, so I've had no sex.
Luka
What about
wasn't
the
there, so he
cloaca?
didn't either.
Okay, fine. So Irha can ride him.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Gives
I'm
up
a
Bonafire
virgin.
as a mount?
Maelie, quick!
What?
Ruin it for him.
Well, I mean, I know what.
Ruin it. for
Seino
him.
was a sad nerd. He can also write.
Oh my god. Unicorn. I'm a fucking unicorn.
All right,
Me
all
and
right.
you,
Even better.
Seino.
All right, who can ride Gallifrey? Raise your hands in shame.
Raise his hand.
Seino raises his hand.
Raise his hand
raises
so
hand.
quickly.
Uh-huh.
What does
Jesus.
Gallifrey look like when Luka looks at him?
A horse with a horn.
Oh, okay.
He's a
boring.
he's a animal, technically. I mean, is
Oh, boring. Walks off.
Effie starts rumbling the ship.
rumbling.
Rumbling. You know,
Uh,
like starts.
Oh, revving.
Flipping
You
the
mean?
switches.
You mean revving
Yeah.
the ship?
Yeah, where it's like kind of like vibrating. like there's
I'm
something
gonna
happening.
wonkle.
Yes,
I'm gonna wank.
I'm wonkling the ship.
All right. So, with that, I'll hopefully have a new ship map for you guys. Traveling to Baba Yaga or Band. Which way are you going?
Baba Yaga first.
Oh, I want my
Yaga.
FERP though of convincing us we're going to Baba Yaga. You ain't getting out of this.
I
Wait,
know.
where's
I'm
the
going to
rat?
the helm. I'm at the helm
All right. She'll gather everybody up.
Why not at the couch of contemplation?
because I have to pilot the ship.
Ira, are you getting on the
You
ship?
can
or are you gonna
pilot
stay in here?
anywhere.
No, I have to be near a
A
place.
urinal?
Yes, a urinal. I have to be at a urinal.
Okay.
Specifically a urinal.
I will just prepare Baba Yaga maps in case you guys go there. That's fine. Okay. Holy fuck.
Ira, we should decide where we're going. Are you coming? Ira. 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 Hello. Hello. I can take control of your token. Hello. Should I move you with me?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
No,
Aha!
yes, please move me. I'm sorry.
Aha!
Chickens.
Why, yes, Sera, I would love to discuss where we're going.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, this looks. I'll sit right next to Maelie. Thank
I
you
wonder
very
how
much.
much money we can get.
Can I understand them? Wait.
Wait, Big Money talked?
He talks? That's what I was looking.
Wow.
Seino
Effie,
looks
we're waiting
over
for you.
suspiciously.
Wow.
I'm on to you, furball.
Did you say something?
Effie, we're waiting for you.
Why don't you guys come here?
Do you want us all to come up here? All right.
Yeah.
She wants us to go to her.
Oh, okay.
Of course she does.
I'm already seated at the table. And he slouches in his chair.
She'll come get very comfortable in the corner with her like 5 million entities who talk in her head.
Would
Seino's
Sera ever
spinning on the
become a
chair.
schizophrenic?
Already have too many of those in our party.
Can't move Irha.
Oh wait, that was
Okay.
me. Dum dum dum. Oh, hello, Effie. I see you wanted us to come to you. We are here. You are very important. Don't worry.
Of course I am. All right, so here's the game plan, and she rubs her hand like the guy peeking out from behind the tree. Obviously, the Rexus Federation is powerful. They may or may not come after me for desertion. I do not want to take that risk. I want to go to Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga?
I promised Elizabeth that I would go talk to the Witch Queen. Maelie was there. I'm a woman of my word, or I try to be.
If that's what you think is best, then I think that's what we ought to do.
Are there
And then-
anything special that we need to know about Baba Yaga?
Oh, actually, yes. While we were in that library, Sera and Irha and I found some information on how to conduct ourselves on Baba Yaga so we don't get in trouble and make fools of ourselves and such, right? Some of these are kind of important, Effie. Specifically, like we already know, there's a hierarchy where the women are more important than the men. So
Aren't they always?
Am I right, ladies?
So, you guys might have a rougher time of it and would probably do best to stay quiet and not try and stand out too much. Since it's a land full of witches, we none of us should use our names freely because that could give them too much power over us, right? It was recommended to use a title or a pseudonym. Pseudonym? I don't know how you say that word actually.
Pseudonym.
Thank you. But when it comes to titles, this was a really important specific part, and here Maelie looks right at Effie, the quote unquote Giga Captain. It's got to be something that was actually given you befitting you and not based on your station or what you call yourself. If it's a false title, there's going to be problems, especially if you use it in front of the queen, which I think is exactly who you're going to go meet, right?
Are you saying that I have a false title, Maelie?
I've always said that, Effie. You know that Giga Captain wasn't something that was bestowed to you. It was something that you chose for yourself.
It is befitting of my station.
I really am quite concerned if you try and introduce yourself as such, it's not going to work out the way you're hoping. And if you're trying to make a good impression and trying to be a woman of your word, getting the queen all angry with you in the first few seconds when you introduce yourself might not be the best. I have a title as the Fading Star, or at least I used to. I don't know if I still have that title now that
See,
I've
false
given up
title.
Patricia. But I mean, shouldn't be too much of a trouble. We just gotta be careful is all.
Would it be best that us manly men just stay in the ship, while you ladies just go out and gallivant and Baba Yaga?
I don't think I'm
Drugs.
safe anywhere.
Sera likes the new Luca and will move closer.
I don't know that I'd leave anyone alone, honestly. And Maelie looks quickly between Seino and Irha across to Luka. I don't think splitting up is a good idea either. It is kind of touch and go, though.
I mean, wouldn't we just be less than compared to you? So wouldn't we need a buddy system? Like I would be assigned to Sera, maybe?
Yes. If you were all presented as my servant, that was deemed acceptable. My manservant, I already have a couple. Why not add to it?
I mean, Seino's my manservant.
She'll just shrug.
Well, I thought that my title was Mage Guard. I guess
Well,
I should
now it's
change it to
manservant.
Guard.
So we're
We
all
could
going
also-
together.
We
Oh,
could
sorry.
also split up, if that is. There is this, is it like a playing card Arcadum? Those fate quests we got?
Yeah, but I would not split up for those.
I know. She'll pull out her playing card. I was rather interested in these artifact spells. I don't have one, and it sounded rather powerful. It's of the equivalent power level of my staff.
You and
I
your
think-
quest for power. What's up, Seino?
Sen will speak up, just as a heads up. Considering my history with the Gambler Black, for example, I don't think I will have that good of a time on Baba Yaga. I will just let you all know that there may be some problems attached to me when I enter that planet.
What do you mean? What problems?
Sera suddenly spins out, finally putting it all together on what all of that was. You were all dealing with the Gambler Black.
Maelie is shocked that his name is being said so
And then
many
her
times
eyes
in a
will
row.
narrow.
Oh
at
no!
Maelie.
Eyes are also going to narrow.
Does he see anything with his sight when the name is said?
Sera will just start to laugh.
Just fear over Seino.
Oh, Maelie, it's perfect.
Yeah,
All
well,
that posturing about my quest for power, all the things you think are just so wrong with me. That was your
Wait,
double
what?
shadow.
Wait, what does she have to do with that?
She made a deal.
it's none of your
Because-
business what I did.
I'm just saying this is all on my cap.
Oh,
You
I
do,
don't think it
Seino.
is, Seino.
Oh, I think it is. And you
I
don't know
think
what
it's
you're talking
shared.
about, Sera.
Then tell us. Tell us, Seino.
Yes, tell us.
I did a foolish. I was the one foolishly searching for power when I felt weak. And that all spiraled down in consequences that I was not ready for.
Like,
You didn't pay up, did you, Seino?
Well, I kind of escaped, I guess.
And what was the
deserted?
price for escape? Was the price Maelie's double shadow?
No, that was before that.
She'll cross her arms.
It was a shit show. That is for sure.
Explain.
Use your words, Seino.
I don't know how I can talk about it. I don't know if it still can get me in trouble if I talk about it too much. So I will try to say it in vague words so you can get what I'm getting at. When we entered, I think it was the room with all the mana canisters on the sides. I used the dice that I got. If you all remember from that.
I do.
I think it was a penguin. I don't remember.
It was a giant statue of some dude.
It wasn't otter.
No. The guy that gave us the dice.
Oh, it was a ferret.
Oh,
Ferret.
Oh, the ferret man.
Yeah.
And then you rolled them in that room with the statue in it, and then the room went dark, and then you came out and you're like, yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing happened. I said I will explain it later. I never did.
Right, and now that time is now.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can explain it fully. Because last time I talked about these, let's say he caught up to it. So let's just say I did a deal without specifying on what. And it got secondary people involved that I was not planning on involving in. And that made it complicated. So then I wanted to backtrack on that. And over the rest of the time, when you all noticed that, like, sometimes I was acting strange and stuff, I was always trying to, I guess, do my wrongs right. In the dream, I got finally the chance to, but it didn't get fully revoked. It got away from, like, when we chose the fates, I was able to escape, but then I was, let's say, searched for. And when I thought, okay, this might actually get the whole party in trouble, in the dream, I had the chance to wish for something at like a specific like water lake, and I chose that wish to do right what I wronged, and it worked for me, but it didn't get rid of all of it. But in the end,
I remember that. That's when I saw the shadow leave Maelie.
And in the end, the last thing that was still a residue from what I did got revoked through actions from another person. That's how vaguely I can at least explain what happened. I feel kind of ashamed that I never said anything about it. I honestly kind of put it down because I didn't want to think about it anymore. But I think this might change with this next location. And he will scratch his head and then look down on the ground.
So you're saying it's on site as soon as you get to Baba Yaga?
Well, I don't know what's on site, but something will happen, that's for sure.
Shouldn't you want to right your wrong, Seino?
Oh, I will stand for what I did. There's no doubt about it that I will stand my ground. I feel no shame of what I did or how I went about the things. But I'm just saying this might it will probably trouble me, but it will maybe trouble all of us. We will have to see.
Let's do it then.
She's
we
way
stay on
too
the ship,
delighted.
then?
She's like mischievously gleeful out of everything that was just unveiled.
So
She'll just find herself in a chair.
So it looks like people are ready to go to Baba Yaga then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
In that case, I'm gonna call it there because I'm dying. All right. It is so
Aw.
hot.
Oh. But are we staying on the ship or not? Looks at the two men.
I wanted to blow up Effie some more, but yeah, we can end.
I will go out.
Well,
I'm not
if you
staying
have stuff
at the
that you
ship.
want to roleplay, go ahead. I just
It's just question, an actual legitimate question. Men, are we staying on the ship or not?
We're staying
I'm
on
not
the ship.
planning
It's
to.
about where we're going.
I have absolutely no plans of staying on the ship. Why would I let Maelie go off on her own?
Why would I leave any of y'all alone? Exactly. We should not split up. We gotta stand together, don't we?
Effie, what I need help understanding is, at every opportunity you've reminded me we need to get the band.
Quick Baba Yaga mission in and out.
This will not be quick.
We've
There's
only
a
been on Eris for 4 days. We were supposed to be here for 1, but I'm fine with 4. Quick Baba
She'll-
Yaga mission.
she'll
in and
gesture
out.
to this half. One of their patrons, who is very well known and dabbles on the evil side, will have a vested interest in finding us. This will not be quick.
I think that it's gonna have a hard time finding us.
She'll just shrug. Well, if you're fine taking the time going there, I would like to go meet the Slitch when we're done.
What lich?
She'll wave her player card around. The
Oh,
one for this.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with that. I think some artifact spells might be nice.
Excellent. She'll see Maelie's glower. She'll just start laughing again. The irony.
So much for secrets.
Hmm.
Yes, I always seem to get blamed for what people are hiding within themselves.
I never blamed you.
I wasn't talking about you, Seino. You just ignored the cost of what you did.
I
But-
would say ignored, but let's say I foolishly searched for something I should have thought more over.
I think it is
Ignorant.
bygones. You have you have me. And navigating contracts is my specialty. We'll figure it out.
I'm free of the contract. I'm just wondering what they're gonna do.
You're never free of a contract, Seino.
We will see.
Strap on.
All right.
She'll take out her dildo that she bought and straps on.
That's
Put your strap on.
okay. I'll take it that's we devolved into sexual jokes that we're good to go. All right. Good session, guys.
Yes.
Good session.
Good session.
We have one shit post,
Great.
Fantastic.
Hooray.
Love it.
and it is it's beautiful.
Hold on.
Fantastic. Not
it's-
surprised, dude.
Yes!
It's,
Cat.
Yes!
The plate of fucking fries is the one that gets me. It's very good.
It needs a chair. Like the one that he sleeps in.
Oh yes.
Ah, yes, the advanced Rainzz lore.
Yeah. This guy doesn't sleep in a bed, he sleeps in a lazy boy. And it's probably not even
What?
a lazy boy, it's probably some chair that he fucking
Some
strapped
German
onto
boy.
the
He sleeps
street.
in a German boy.
A German boy?
No,
He
I,
sleeps on a
I
unicorn, that's
sleep
what
in
I've
a
learned.
gaming chair, okay?
Oh my god.
Das Gamen Cheren.
Dear God, dude.
All right,
That's
guys.
crazy.
Good session, guys. I'll see you guys in an hour and a half, or hour and 40 minutes, or whatever, for Dark Sermon.
Yeah.
Bye, bye, everybody.
Ooh.